delivered to your door. Call Gold Silver. 800-943-0343.
You ready? As long as you're working, you ain't gonna run into too much crazy.
You owe $10 or more on at least 2 federal student loans, then you may qualify for new programs offered by the Department of Education. These programs can reduce your interest, lower your payments, and possibly qualify you for loan forgiveness.
I'm live.
If you have $10,000 or more and at least 2 federal student
Angela.
loans
Why
and
Angela
currently
watching?
not in school, you may qualify for one of these programs. Call now to check your eligibility. Student loan advisors are standing by to help you determine if you qualify for these programs. They can help you reduce your interest, lower your payment, and even forgive a portion of your student loan debt. Take control of your financial future. Make this free 5-minute free call now to Nationwide Student Loans and learn how you can reduce your student loan debt.
800-949-8708. 800-949-8708. 800-949-8708. 800-949-8708.
These days, we barely give lunch the time of day. We bag it, rush it, skip it, and leave it to fend for itself in the fridge. What used to be a break is but
You got no rubber on. What happened when
well, it's
you
time to
wear
take
rubber?
lunch back. At TGI Fridays, get one of our new fast, fresh pairings, like a strawberry field salad with chicken and a bowl of turkey kale soup for just $6.99. And with quick mobile pay, settle up whenever you want, which means you'll have time for a refreshing triple berry smoothie. Make lunch count. Only at TGI Fridays. At participating restaurants, available Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
There's a lot going on in the world, and your world is always changing. That's why it's important to stay connected. The latest news, the latest entertainment, the newest music. If it's in the air or on the air, it can be in the palm of your hand, wherever you are, with the iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio.
Over 1,500 live radio stations from across the country, and over 15 million songs to create your own custom stations. Text IHR to 45495 to download the app or listen at iHeartRadio.
Then when you watch the Breakfast Club, a lot of times you know where to put that microphone. And leave back talking to Mike.
The opinions expressed during the sponsored programs on this station are strictly those of the program hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of the broadcast through this station and staff, other advertisers, or agencies.
Listening to It's Bigger Than Hip Hop Radio. And this is presented by
Alright, so y'all ready? Y'all want water? Y'all good? Want water, bro?
Y'all take a water.
And you can get arrested black boys for walking while black, thinking while black, driving while black, and anything you're doing while black. Take Brenton.
I can go and tell you why this program you have is so beautiful. That one, truth don't never have to be validated by ignorance. But ignorance will never validate truth.
This is Bigger Than Hip Hop Radio. Tune in every Friday from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern on WWWAM 1100 on iHeartRadio. 1100.
See that post.
And so again, I said, what you do is very important. A lot of times you just go like this.
Y'all took a picture like that already?
Not yet. Not yet. You fucking put your phone. Oh, you showing that? Is it really got where it needs to be at?
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another edition of It's Bigger Than Hip Hop. I'm your host, Jeff Hodges. Real excited tonight to be in the building as always. I tell you guys, it's a great thing to be on the radio with you to share and bring you some great guests. And tonight is definitely no difference. The same producers that brought you Grind Nation and Throne Society clothing prove that $1 million product can be produced without $1 million budget. Tonight, my family, my guests, the independent filmmakers, Jurian, David, and Jeremy, also known as the IsaBelle Brothers. They are in the building for their film to discuss it. film project, rather discuss their film project, The Last Disciples. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, how you doing? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Before we get started, I just got to give a quick shout out. Mario showing up on my door.
No doubt, definitely got to Glam Life PR.
So Glam Life, shout out to Glam Life PR and marketing. You know what I'm saying, doing their thing. You know what I'm saying, getting us connected and putting us where we need to be.
Indeed. And on the phone, unfortunately, wasn't able to get in the building with us is your brother David. What's going on, David?
What up, David?
All right, man.
All right. You guys, man, you did some big things with this film, The Last Project, man. And everybody talked about how you definitely, like I said in the beginning, did it without a budget, a Hollywood buzz. Talk about that, man.
Well, we always have done like film and stuff. Like we were doing film and videos and stuff before it was cool, when it was lame. But YouTube and the internet came along, and everybody, is like video is like, it's like the primary source of communication these days. So it's just kind of been like a love we had since we were little. Always told visual stories, and now we just kind of taking it to the next level as far as like our filmmaking and stuff go.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's been a long time coming. Dren actually went to school out to California, and when he came back from that film school, he was just on fire. And we was still doing sports, but man, it kind of took off when he came back and was like, man, let's do it, let's go, we don't have to have some of the big things that some of these other producers and everybody else have. We just got to work what we got, and as long as the story good, we can get the job done.
No doubt. Now, The Last Disciples is a feature-length film that accomplishes the daunting task of presenting spiritual concepts and principles to a trending new generation. My question is, why was that so important for you to convey and target the younger generation?
Man, that was like, even in church every Sunday, everybody's trying to figure out, where's the young generation going, what's happening to the younger generation. It's actually a big gap if you take a look and think about that. So we were just sitting around and saying, how can we reach the young generation through our craft, give them substance, give them some biblical principles, give them some stuff to look at, something to think about, and still make it a hot movie.
Entertaining, yeah. Hot entertaining. That was a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, your biblical stories, they undiluted, and into a modern society, you brought that realistic, gritty, urban drama to it. So tell me, how did your love for movies get sparked, and what can we as a community do to help others discover similar pleasure?
I think it just boils down to us being able to have control over our stories, the stories we tell. A lot of times when you go through Hollywood or other people who, have this formula, they just kind of plug people in, and like, if we just stick to this and churn it out, we can make X amount of dollars. It's been proven X, Y, Z. But the curveball is the genuine stories that we had to tell. And that's something money can't buy. Like, you can't buy a good script. Either the story is good or it's whack. I mean, we go to movies all the time going and thinking it's something, and we sit down, it's like, man, like I just wasted $20.
They can buy a good script, but it got to come from somewhere out there.
Exactly. It's got to come through an authentic source. And that's why I feel like, as far as Hollywood goes, I kind of like the advent of the internet because it opens up, the door. Whereas before it was a block. You had to do certain things to get certain places, but now it's wide open. So I think that's it can be overwhelming and it can be diluted, but, it's a good thing that people have access to be able to tell their story.
Right. David, you online, talk about your perspective. We definitely want to leave you out.
I mean, we definitely so far in tune with each other. I can finish my brother's sentence. That's just how together we are, and that's what makes it so easy to work together. Is that we really on one wave, and a lot of times, I think when people try to come together, especially black people, a lot of times the fights and the arguments is what disrupts something that's good, But you look at Migos, shout out to Migos, they a family,
right.
And so that's what when they jump on Takeoff, that's what allows them to keep going and just put it behind them as they're a family, and that's genuine. That's never going nowhere.
Indeed. Turn your radio down for me. It sounds like you're echoing over there. Now, you guys believe it's important to keep local dollars in the community, and you did so by casting local talent. Many scenes take place at local venues, and songs heard throughout the film were created by local artists. Producers rather than artists. But elaborate on why this is so important to you guys.
I think it go back to just hitting home. We know most everybody who was in the movie straight from the streets, seeing them around, communicating with them, talking with them, seeing where their mind is at. Mm-hmm. So when we think about a character named Kane and figure out what all he has to go through, we know somebody who can play that role. So just knowing, being in tune with your community, knowing people, reaching out to people, helping other people, dream big. It's not all about, always reaching out to, your bigger names. Of course, we want those. Shout out to Ann Nesbitt, who was in it.
Definitely.
Yeah. But, man, it was really a blessing seeing what they got from it, what the cast got from it, throughout the movie, learning about these stories and actually putting their heart into it and making it a fantastic movie.
Yeah. And also, I think it's important just to see value in ourselves, because a lot of times, if you don't have a certain amount of money or if they're not having a name, we tend to look down on each other. And I think that's a huge mistake, because we constantly devaluing ourselves and what we have to offer. I mean, it's just as important. It might not have $1 million budget marketing or promo behind it, but it's just as relevant as a blockbuster that is in the movie theater. So I think it's also changing that mindset of, if it don't have X amount of dollars behind it, it's worthless, because that's not true.
Not at all. Definitely got a story to tell for sure, and represent, and coming from all kind of perspectives. Now, you guys just mentioned Grammy-nominated singer and actress Ann Nesbitt. She placed a stamp of approval on the film. You guys cast as Miss Lorraine, the mother of the leading figure of Noah in the short story.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that and how that all came about.
Dave, you can talk about Ann. That's Dave. Dave loves Ann. Go ahead, Dave.
That's your baby.
I'm a big fan of Ann, and especially her work,
Yeah.
Which my brother turned me on to it. I just kind of fell in love with her. But really, that connection with Ann came through an organic opportunity that Duran had to go out and kind of work on her biopic. And he just always kept a contact, and she took a liking towards him. So you kind of go back to just being genuine, just being yourself.
Yeah.
And working with her was so easy. Like, when we got on set, we actually in Atlanta, we came out to Atlanta and shot that scene, and right on set, I asked her to get on the floor, and she got on the floor. And so I was kind of shocked. Like, I just asked Ann to get on the floor, and she's like, "Don't come."
Grammy
on
nominated.
the floor. And I was like blown away by how humble she was, and we just had a good energy on set, and it turned out beautiful. She killed it.
That's what's up. All right, so you guys, Last Disciples, you premiered it there in Hollywood at the Regal Hollywood Cinema. Talk about that experience, as we was off camera talking about that a little something.
That was crazy. I mean, to be honest, that whole day is like a blur. We set the time. We was like, okay, we're gonna premiere it here, and it was just like, this is the first time anybody in the city had really done anything like that. So everybody was excited. The movie was still in editing process. We was editing up till I think 2 weeks before the actual premiere, trying to get the sound right, trying to make sure it was legit for everybody, because it was like, it's either make or break. Like, if you come out in this trash, you'll never rebound. Just leave town and hang it up. So we had to make sure everything was legit. And once it was people were trying to buy tickets. The tickets sold. We really underestimated the impact that it was gonna have. We were playing it safe, maybe we'd get some seats filled. It was pandemonium in the city. Wow. It was a blessing, man. That God was definitely in the mix from the pre-production to the release. It was so many people got behind us. The whole city, media, news, everybody was pushing it, and it was a risky project. With it being spiritual and us in a Bible Belt, in Huntsville, Alabama, I was honestly thinking it would polarize people, but it did the opposite. It brought everybody together, so that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, and as far as going out to California, that really just kind of opened our eyes and showed us that, man, it's really touching people. It's really doing what we hoped it and prayed it would do. And going out there to Cali, man, just being around, stars like that, it just really encourages you and shows you that, anything is possible. Anything is really possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The biggest shock for me was the police coming out there and actually telling people hey, y'all gotta move the line to the side of the building, because there was so many people in the parking lot. It was like crazy. It was hazardous. So they was like, police out there telling people to wrap
the line around to the back of
to wrap it up. And I actually I shoot you the picture, but I got a picture of that.
Snake.
That was crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. You listening to It's Bigger Than Hip Hop. I'm your host, Jeff Hodges. These are my very special guests, the IsaBelle Brothers. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And also, so y'all listen out. We're about to give you that moment in hip hop segment.
In hip-hop history with Mocha Brown. Remember when hip-hop was all about fun and was more of a vessel for dancing than anything else? Well, you have Doug E. Fresh to thank for pioneering this era in hip-hop. The Barbadian-born rapper, producer, and beatboxer, Doug E. Fresh charmed us all with his fun-loving party lyrics and humorous punchlines. Born September 17, 1966, Douglas Davis got his initial notoriety for being the original human beatbox by inventing a method to imitate a drum machine using breath control through his teeth, lips, and gums. Dougie Fresh had a string of hit singles with his then partner Slick Rick in the early and mid-'80s. Most notable were The Show and Lottie Dottie in 1985. Doug will forever be known as the human beatbox, a self-coined phrase which proved to be valid. Many have imitated his beatboxing style over the years, but there's only one Doug E. Fresh. It's Bigger Than Hip Hop Radio salutes a true pioneer in hip hop, Doug E. Fresh. This is Mocha Brown with your moment in hip hop history.
There is no competition because we all the best.
East up. It's the Invisible Man, and you listen to the hottest radio show on the air. Breakfast is over, and it's dinner time now. It's Bigger Than Hip Hop with your host, Jeffrey Hodges, on iHeartRadio. It's Bigger Than Hip Hop Radio. Told y'all you can't see me.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now, because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-985-1813 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you a copy of The #1 Mistakes Retirees Are Making with Their Investments Today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-985-1813 now. Again, that's 800-985-1813. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
What's up? This is Damian Crazy Legs Hall, co-owner of WWRN Radio. Keep us locked 24/7 and enjoy our classic hip-hop and R&B station. It ain't also touch that dial, baby.
All right, and we back. You listening to It's Bigger Than Hip Hop. I'm your host, Jeff Hodges, and with me, my very special guest, the IsaBelle Brothers, here to talk about their film, The Last Disciples. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
What's up? IsaBelle Brothers in the building.
No doubt. Jeremy, I'm going to ask you guys all these questions I need to answer, each individually. What was the most important lesson you had to learn that has had a positive effect on your film? Let's start with you, Jeremy.
The most lesson learned. Patience. Patience working with people. Understanding time differences and also creative differences. that was my most important lesson throughout the film.
I'd say perseverance, because it's Mr. Breakfast Club. It started off hot, like the first day or two, everybody fired up and they ready to, do it and make it happen. And then you get on day like 20 or 30 and everybody like, I gotta go to work. It's just like you got to keep going. And like Jeremy said, like schedules fall up, fall down, and people kind of in and out because everybody got lives to live. That's one of the things I think that makes it harder independently is you don't have the luxury of meals and a place to sleep for a month while you shoot. Like everybody's trying to fit the vision into their daily lives, kids, work, their own personal grinds and hustles they got going on. So that's a real challenge, and it was a blessing for us to have a crew and a cast that really believed in us and was there through thick and thin, like all the way from the pre-production meetings to the release when we were trying to make sure nobody get to fighting because we sold out of seats and 10 people not going to see the movie. Who going to make that, so it's like that. And I just say perseverance. Keep going and praying in the midst. One time, all the audio fell out in the movie. Wow. All the audio. And he had to go back in and resync every single clip in the movie. So it's stuff like that to make you think like, okay, do we quit now? Or some moments, you know what I'm saying? So,
And you, David?
I'd probably say faith. Having faith in yourself, having faith in your product, that's the biggest lesson I probably would give. The biggest lesson I learned is just having faith. Ain't nothing to place faith.
Got you. All right, David, what film has been the most inspiring or influential to you and why?
The Last Disciples, man, y'all go check it out.
Right, IsaBelleBrothers.com. Make sure y'all go check out
There you go.
But seriously, the most inspirational film to me probably be The Wiz. I remember seeing The Wiz, from Michael Jackson and Diana Ross.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing The Wiz as a young kid. It was my first. I knew the story of The Wizard of Oz, but to see a black version and for it to be just as entertaining or even more entertaining than the already popular Hollywood version.
Right.
It was my first. It was my first kind of inspiration from a black standpoint that it put us in a light to really just show that hey, we got something to offer too.
Indeed.
Right.
Jeremy?
Me? I would say, which Batman was that with Jack?
The first one.
The first Batman with Jack Nicholson. I study. I kind of bring the craziness to some of the stuff. So I like studying Jack. Some of his, just the way he act, period, is phenomenal. And just understanding what facial expressions and what situations can do to a film.
Okay.
Dang, my brother the other day was saying all in my head. Like I like Wiz, the Batman. Batman Returns is one of my favorites too. But I think concept wise, this movie called Contact with Jodie Foster, Matthew McConaughey, when she really didn't have faith in God and he had the faith and it was about her finding faith, that had a big impact on me. But I'm with David. Something about the Wiz, like seeing yourself, and I think we kind of do that in our movies to an extent, like seeing yourself exalted or where you feel like you need to be at visually.
Gotcha.
That's it's nothing beats that. Like I remember we were in a movie theater and we had shot at our hometown at Floyd's, is a barbecue spot, but everybody in Huntsville know what Floyd's barbecue is. So when this scene came on the screen and you saw Floyd, everything on the silver screen is 10 times big as it is in real life. So you saw the crane come down and you saw Floyd sign it. Everybody moved there. It was like, ah! It's just something about seeing yourself like put up there. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't top that.
Right. All right. So talk about each of your positions. Who's visual, who's technical, and who's definitely handling the business?
It's a group effort, we were talking about this the other day, and all around the city we always get that, who doing what, who doing this, who doing that. And the funny thing is we don't even think about it. We've been working together for so long, like I said, it's almost instinctual. It's so effortless. It's kind of like going to ask your mama, Mom, how you make this? And she tell you, I don't know, I just eyeball it.
Yeah, sure.
You kind of feel let down because you're like, I kind of want the exact message.
Right.
And she's like, nah, I add a little this, add a little that. And she don't really think about what you're doing, but she know what you're going for. And that's kind of how we work. Duran is the oldest, and he's, he was the first with a camera in his hand.
Got you.
And we were like the guinea pigs, like as we growing up under him, he'd be like, stand over here, do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, as we got older, it just became a household of just creativity. My dad and my granddad were awesome at telling stories.
Yeah,
so
great storytellers.
Picked that up naturally, telling stories, having a creative eye. A lot of credit just go to the people.
Right. Got you. All right. Give them social media sites and where they can check you out and all of that.
Y'all go right now to IsaBelleBrothers.com. That's IsaBelle Brothers.com. You can stream. You can watch all our video content. You can rent Last Disciples and buy Last Disciples. You can check us out on YouTube, Instagram, IsaBelle Boys, IsaBelle Boys. Again, shout out to Glam Life PR, Mario. Love you, man. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you pushing us. Cheers. What am I missing?
Shout out to everybody who was a part of the film. Jabo out here in Atlanta, Trans Lee, Huntsville native, Lauren Hendricks, Ann Nesby, Nino, Chevy, everybody, Roxo, Doxy, everybody who was part of
George.
I
was calling my fourth brother. He was instrumental in keeping everything going too. And J Love, Shaniqua, Angela, Rick, that whole cast, our crew they pretty much like family, so shout out to them too.
Got you. You guys got any last words that you want to close out with?
Atlanta, we just finished a new script.
We got a new movie coming out. It's called Candy.
Okay.
It's a drama. And we're going to be having auditions out here soon, so we might be...
We might have to throw a little hat in the ring,
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we'll be out here soon. We'll be back out here soon.
I mean,
with our drone.
I mean, y'all know February 16th is that day I'm in Black Panther. Y'all go check that
out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Shout out to Black Panther.
No doubt. Let me know when the auditions
are you doing like some fighting? What you doing?
Yeah. I'm a border tribesman. This is I'm going to shoot me the friend request. You see
That's what's up.
Okay.
Right. We know we're in the presence of royalty.
Oh, that's what's up. No doubt. Kings stay king. Hey, man, it's been an honor and a pleasure. You guys are doing great things. Continued success. And we're going to be looking out for you, man, for sure.
Appreciate y'all. Dave, you got the last word?
I'm good.
Shout out to our parents, man. Shout out to our family. Love y'all.
No doubt. You're listening to It's Bigger Than Hip Hop. That's my very special guest, the IsaBelle Brothers. Y'all make sure y'all check them out and stay up on them because, man, they got some things coming out. In Atlanta, you heard them. There's going to be an addition, so stay tuned. Appreciate y'all, man.
Oh, yeah.
You was a Black Panther for real?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Man, that Black Panther's going to be...
It's You didn't see Marion them posting it?
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts.
I did see Chadwick and the dude from Get Out.
$500 on Viagra. Why
Dude
pay
from Get Out,
US
he in
prices
it.
of
Yeah, he got on the
$50
same
more
look in
when
the
you can get
promotion.
Viagra for
You can
less
see
than
him.
$3 a pill. Call today and get it for only $99. This can cost as much as $6. Your local pharmacy. You can't afford
So you be acting on all of that too?
I just stumbled into this. I just sent my headshots into casting director and some number using my laptop and wasn't a good picture. Forgot about it. Got the email. It's like,
You on sick? Like, come on sick today.
Like, do what your Tyler Perry joint, did a first show and all that. Yeah, I was really excited.
We out.
to take your call now. Call 800-711.